Hi, everybody. I was just going to do a video of it was DDGotaPodcast his interview with Lisa. I can't find out who this Lisa is. And then Zach Costello, he did a review of his 3 hour long conversation with Gary Melton, which I was glad because I wanted to review that. But as I said, it was longer than 3 hours. Gary went on for like 6. Gary is obsessed with this whole thing. And I really, from the beginning, um, thought he was like hired by the CIA or feds or whatever to control the situation. But I think, see, this is what, Jesse got a podcast. He's always like, or Jesse on Fire. He's always, I know. I'm like, holy shit, Jesse, I've been trained for this since I was a young child. My psychopathic mother and pathological lying. I remember growing up with my siblings. We would say to each other, she said that, right? You were there, you heard her. She said that. You talk about guilty until you're proven innocent. So and reading people and all of that stuff. This is what a socialite is trained to do. I've been looking for this book. Cornelia Guest wrote in the 80s, The Debutante's Guide to Life or something, which, that was her social media branding. In those days, you didn't have social media platforms. And it was through books and articles and interviews with, like, she did get an interview on David Letterman. Oh, I have to say, I saw her sing It's My Birthday and I'll Cry If I Want to on David Letterman, and I felt sorry for her. I was like, oh my God, girl. I was embarrassed for her. So anyway, yeah, I was fit to be tied because, as you can see, my background, I have a tiny, tiny little room. Although I was about to say, and I got rats upstairs, but you know what? Actually, I think the dogs upstairs, there's a couple who moved in with some dogs upstairs. I was like, ooh, I think they got scared and left, which is nice because I usually see them outside my window. I've been living in a hellhole in Washington since I got back. My ex-husband, he said, nobody cares about you. You're going to end up living in the streets on a tent if you leave me. I was like, well, what are you talking about? Are you crazy? This is 20 years ago. Like, you gotta be crazy. Anybody who, I could do so many things as administrative work, anything in restaurants. I even used to reform houses. Well, all of my classmates from Foxcroft were at Palm Beach and Martha's Vineyard. I was at my parents' farm in Louisiana reforming houses. In fact, the farm that was stolen by Edwin Edwards, that's another story people should get on, particularly Starkey Farmstead. It's about a 10-minute drive. The Renaissance, there's the Renaissance Fair. I'm almost positive. I even asked my brother. We went on Google. I said, "This is where the property is." Yeah, this is, and it's a Renaissance Fair. I said, "Oh well, good," because I want to know what happened. Everything. I couldn't believe when I got involved in the courts in my divorce in Spain. I was horrified. It was like, what are you people doing? This is crazy. I thought I was going to, gather all the evidence I needed against that system, get to the United States. My mom had hung me out to dry. She was like, oh, she thought my husband would kill me and then she'd get money. My God. Anyway, yeah, see, this is what the upper crust, everybody wants to become part of the upper crust and everything. They don't realize how cutthroat it is. I mean, this whole thing with the Charlie Kirk assassination and the reaction of the TPUSA people, it's like, are these people human? Well, no, they're not human. I mean, everybody's a commodity to be. I mean, this is like one of Trump's, you know, close advisors. Um, you're no longer useful. You're taken out. And I mean, I still, there is some, the satanic ritual stuff. I'm still like, there are too many gaps in knowledge there. What's going on there? Yeah. So anyway, Zoom blocked me, and this is why I prefer Zoom. I've got my little avatar on Zoom because there's, you know, the resolution on this computer is horrible, and also I just woke up. I don't have any makeup. I don't have to put makeup on or any of that stuff. Not that it helps much because this resolution is so bad. And of course, I don't have a studio. I don't have any backdrop. I mean, I can try to can't even put my things up. It falls down. It don't even stick to the walls. So, it is what it is. I have a roof over my head, and I'm thankful for that. And well, I'm not starving. Could lose some weight, but that's another thing. So anyway, oh, they just fixed the ice cream machine, which is not helping. I'm gonna put on a couple pounds. Oh my lord, this is the ice cream machine where I work. Been Not been working since August. Nobody wanted to pay to have it fixed. I mean, this is the you know people. This country is going to shit, and it's from top to bottom in Washington. I mean, as I say, a freaking ice cream machine. This is downstairs from the Federal Reserve. You know, I'm like, I don't understand you people. I keep on saying this new owner, he's got to have a sugar baby someplace, and I'd like to know the name because I'll go ahead and send the guy my bills and laugh it off like that. I'm like, because wait a second, he's got to be paying it. I figure at least $5,000 per month. This is top real estate in downtown Washington D.C. It's got to be 40, 50 square meters. Sorry, I lived in Europe. Really, Americans, you need to get to meters. And so that's what I calculate. He's paying at least minimum that. So, and we sell churros and donuts, and that's it. Oh, and some coffee. But like, you have a locale where you could do so much. I was like, okay, let's get some crepes in here. Forget the ice cream maker. This thing it is demonic. And you think Erica Kirk is bad? It's a McDonald's soft serve ice cream machine. And everybody, thank God, at least everybody said, oh, okay, well, they're notorious for breaking. Yeah. So you got two sides and for two different flavors. And I'm like, one side is constantly going down. Look, just put vanilla on both sides. Then here I sent the new owner. Finally, he broke down. It's 2,500. I said, bring me tubs of ice cream, vanilla, chocolate, and a couple of different flavors, and we can, do Sundays and then you can discuss till the cows come home whether you want to get the soft serve fix. But in the meantime, August to now, what are we talking? Before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. So, but no, and I mean, I have a freezer, an empty freezer. This is what, the mentality. This is what drives me crazy about this is what I'm dealing with top to bottom in Washington. So anyway, yeah, yesterday We had issues, but at least the we have really good passion fruit, I have to admit, and it's a sorbet. It doesn't have milk in it, and so it's vegan. It's like, oh God, would you please stop with the vegan? Get on with your children's rights before your animal rights. Yeah. So anyway, um, I'm fit to be tied. I am. Calm me down a little bit. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not be able to do my video this morning. Maybe by this afternoon, I'll have my Zoom back. But if not, what I'm going to be doing this on YouTube. But at least I know I did already look that I can share. Oh, here it is. I can share. So I want to acceptable guidelines. Okay. So the acceptable guidelines, Zoom trust and safety principles, blah, blah, blah. We bring together a diverse community of people to collaborate with each other. Oh, I don't know about that. And what are they collaborating on? That's another thing. I'm not inciting anybody to do anything illegal. We take seriously our duty to safeguard the free and open exchange of thoughts and ideas on Zoom. Okay. We care deeply for our users and the virtual and physical communities in which they live, work, and play. We are committed to providing our users with welcoming, respect, and safe place to work, learn, play, and share their voices. Abuse. You may not engage in the targeted harassment of someone or encourage others to do so. We consider abusive behavior as an attempt to harass, intimidate, or silence someone else's voice. Accounts that do so may be permanently suspended. Well, I invite anybody. All I've been doing is covering the videos that the podcasters are posting of Charlie Kirk, or well, with Tyler Robinson's trial, if you will, the investigation into, the assassination and all of that. I mean, I've been commenting, and in fact, the entire objective of my, not sure, let's see, sorry, I'm not sure how, oh, here. Sorry, I was looking at this, the guidelines, and I'm not sure how this thing works. Sorry about that. Oh, I guess I do need to get over here. But then I don't know how, I guess I'll see how this works. Okay. So, I've been trying to, demonstrate how these different people involved in the conversation have been radicalizing the entire process, and can't, and are attacking each other. And, particularly, I mean, it's almost comical, or it would be if things weren't so bad, the manner in which Gary Melton has, gone ballistic on Candace. And that's what I'm exposing. So I don't know, by me exposing behavior that I find inappropriate and hateful, intimidating, silencing someone else, I mean, I find it hard to understand how they could contend that I'm the one harassing somebody or encouraging others to do so. I'm doing the exact opposite. So, hateful conduct. You may not promote violence against, threaten, or harass other people on the basis of race, ethnicity, national origin, caste, sexual orientation, gender identity, religious affiliation, age, disability, or serious illness. We reserve the right to consider and add additional categories. You may not use your username, display name, or profile information to abuse or threaten anyone. Accounts that do so may be permanently suspended. Moreover, there is no place on Zoom for organizations that promote violence against, threaten, or harass other people on the basis of race, ethnicity, national origin, caste, sexual orientation, gender identity, religious affiliation, age, disability, or serious disease. Now, I'm once again, I'm calling out hateful conduct and exposing it instead of promoting it. So, how am I violating this hateful conduct policy? There is no place for hateful conduct on Zoom. If you engage in hateful conduct, including, for example, posting or sending hateful imagery, making violent threats, targeting others with hateful or abusive speech, including profanity, or including anyone else, or encourage anyone else to do so, you will be blocked from Zoom. Well, profanity, yeah, I guess, but I mean, everybody's using profanity, and I do believe that using profanity falls under freedom of speech. To say that you can't use profanity, I mean, what are we, like 1940s? My mother's house? I mean, and I'm not somebody who uses profanity lightly. So if they want to catch me on the profanity stuff, well, I think we all are going to get shut down. We believe that hateful conduct is conduct that promotes violence against or directly attacks or threatens other people on the basis of race, ethnicity, national origin, caste, sexual orientation, gender identity, religious affiliation, age, disability, or serious disease. We will not allow access to Zoom to those who have used or intend to use it for the purpose of inciting harm towards others on the basis of these categories. So I don't know, has somebody filed a complaint against me? What's going on? Shouldn't I, if somebody filed a complaint, shouldn't I be able to know who it is and what they're accusing me of? Because, I mean, I'm not the one who's promoting hateful conduct. In fact, I'm calling it out. So we believe that hateful imagery includes logos, symbols, or images whose purpose is to promote hostility and malice against others on their base. Oh, so imagery, I don't know if they flagged me because, in the backgrounds, I'm looking for things, and I'm looking like war zones because we're at war. I'm not promoting war. I'm denouncing war. So maybe I got flagged because I do look a lot for the different backgrounds that I'm looking for. And I guess I've like World War III, Wild West with cowboys and Indians. But these are not hateful imageries. I mean, I'm not like, burn somebody someone being burned at the stake or somebody's being sacrificed. I mean, I have done like satanic rituals or something like that because that's what we're talking about. So again, Nazis. Symbols historically associated with hate groups, the Nazi swastika. Maybe that's why I've been, but I don't think I've Googled, can I have a Nazi swastika? I have Googled Nazi Germany, perhaps. But again, because that's what the subject matter is I'm talking about, and in fact, calling out people who, I mean, this particularly gets into Marianne Seigart. So I'm not promoting that, I'm calling it out. So, like, just because I'm Googling it, Okay, images depicting others as less than human are altered to include hate symbols. Altering images of individuals to include animalistic features. Well, I haven't altered any images of any people. You can't really do that on Zoom, but I have been doing like cat fight. Oh, that's a lot. Cat fight. Well, I mean, I don't know. I still don't believe that I have done anything that violates their. I do have the cats in there. Um, I've used horses, the cows, but I keep on saying, I mean, the thing that I'm getting with the podcasters, I'm like, all you talk about and all you do is branding. All the social media influencers. Now you're bitching about Goyim and how it means cattle. It's actually translated. But I'm like, all you do is talk about branding yourselves. You might want to stop talking about branding yourselves if you want them to stop referring to you as cattle. I mean, I remember in college, I went to GW. I found out what a Jap was, Jewish American Princess, and then I found out what a Goyim was. Or a guy. They didn't tell me it meant cattle. They said it meant anybody who's not Jewish. I was like, oh, well, that's racist. I don't know any other group has a word for everybody that's not themselves. They have words for all different other groups and words for their own group, like Catholics, Protestants, Baptists, Muslims, whatever, but they don't have a word that means everybody but us. It's like, that's really racist. Oh, and then they also told me, oh, a Jewish guy would never marry you because he could never bring a guy home to his mom. I was like, that's racist as well. I mean, not racist. Technically, it's not racist because we're both white. This is the thing. You also don't have a word. What is it when the discrimination is religion based? There, to my knowledge, there is no word for that. We believe violent threats include declarative statements to intend to inflict injuries that would result in death or serious and lasting bodily harm. Well, that I've never done. We also believe that hateful or abusive speech, including the use of profanity to harass or abuse, has no place on Zoom. Okay, yeah, I have used profanity, but so has everybody else. Violent threat policies for more information. Okay, let's take a look at your violent. See, I want to see this in court. We believe that violent and threats include statements of an intent to kill or inflict serious physical harm on a specific person or group of people. No. I mean, I think I did one time say that the little girl who gives me attitude, who I work with, how many times I just want to haul off and slap her across that, slap that smirk off of her face. But that's the only time. And of course, I wouldn't do it. I was trained in a boot camp of my sisters. Those are the only people that I've ever been physically violent with, and that's when we were kids. And I knew I'd get in trouble, and that's how I learned you don't do it. So anyway, we define it stating, but she deserved it every time. We define stating or intent includes statements like I will, I'm going to, or I plan to, as well as conditional statements like if you do X, I will. No, I mean I'm going to. I mean, I'm not threatening anybody by telling them I'm going to see them in court. I mean, when the whole thing started, my case started in Spain. One of my neighbors, because I said, oh, these people, they fuck with me and I will fuck with them. The lawyers and the whole court system. Because, I mean, it was everything that they were doing was illegal. When I told the lawyer from the beginning, one lawyer that I met with, I said, these documents are falsified. This testimony, this is perjury. She told me I was stupid, that I was crazy, that everybody lied in court. Everybody falsified documents. It was expected. I was the stupid one. Now, this really gets into what I wanted to get into with Charlie Kirk. And Tyler Robinson case. This is precisely what DDGotaPodcast podcast was discussing, and what's going on with Gary Melton. And this is, the presumption of innocence and due process. I mean, this again, presumption of innocence. If these people have an issue with something that I'm posting, I should get an email from them and say, hey, flag this or flag that. We have an issue here. Instead of, we're just going to, you're guilty and you got to prove to us that you're innocent. I mean, Zoom's doing the same shit with me. Okay. So, by telling, I got into the story and I didn't finish it, that, she said, well, is that a threat or a promise? I said, I don't make threats. I never threaten anybody. I make promises. If I tell somebody I'm going to do something, whatever it is, positive or negative, if they interpret it as negative, like I'll see you in court. If I say I'm going to do something, I'll do it. This is what I'm sick and tired. Everybody I know and everybody around me. Yeah. We'll do it. We'll do it. And then nothing ever gets done. If I tell you I'll do something, I'll do it. If I can't tell you, I'm sorry, I don't have the time. I don't have the patience. I don't have the whatever to do, or simply I don't want to do it. I'll tell you, no, I'm not going to do it. I hate people who do that. Threatening to kill someone, well, of course not. Threatening to sexually assault someone, of course not. I'm exposing these things. Threatening to hurt someone or commit a violent act, no, that's what I'm exposing. Asking for offering financial in exchange for inflicting violence on a specific person or group of people, of course not. Illegal or certain regulated goods or services. You may not use Zoom to promote, trade, or engage in the following: counterfeit goods and services, drugs and controlled substances, human smuggling and trafficking. No, these are the things. That's what I'm exposing. Products made from endangered or protected species. No sexual services. No gambling, betting, or wagering activity. Well, I keep on telling everybody that they're in a crapshoot. If I'm telling people, you don't go to high stakes poker game and crapshoot. And I can promise you, what's going on in Washington right now is the highest stakes poker game that the planet's seen in a long time. Let's see. Unauthorized multi-level marketing businesses? No. Stolen goods? No. Content related to weapons? No. Sensitive content? Well, let's see. Sensitive content as content that depicts or promotes graphic violence, adult content, gratuitous gore, hateful imagery, and child exploitation material. Well, I am covering those issues. However, what I'm posting is on on YouTube. I'm downloading my Zoom videos. Now you could maybe tell that they're Zoom videos because you have you have my pop-up, the name. I mean, if anybody knows the platform, but it doesn't have the logo of Zoom anywhere. And then you have the time and the date, which I also have liked streaming from that because it does time and date it from when, because I am going to be using these videos as evidence for the international court. because that's where we are. I mean, that's where I've been headed since the beginning. I've told everybody, you can go on and read all of my emails and letters to everybody. I've been up front from the very beginning. I am working on hauling everybody's ass to the international courts under human rights violation, what's under the conventions and under constitutions. So, I mean, uh, there's child exploitation material for sure. I mean, that's what we're covering. Okay. But I mean, are people who are talking about this material, Zoom's going to have to show that they're not allowing other people who are covering this issue, because there's a lot of, and there are a lot of shady. I mean, like all of the nonprofits and stuff, are they using Zoom? Because if Zoom is blocking me, then they need to be investigated for a lot of stuff that they're not blocking, which is promoting all of this stuff. Any form of media related to death, serious injury, violence, or surgical procedures. I mean, I haven't shown any. I mean, I've shown other people's videos, but those have already been censored. Okay, adult content to include pornography. Yeah, no, definitely not. I mean, that's also why I like the avatar, because then I can move around and I don't have to, I mean, of course, I'm not sitting here doing pornography behind my avatar, but like, I'm not nude. I do have clothes on. But my point being is, yeah, okay, like I'm not having my avatar with no clothes on. Okay, so let's see. Yeah. We consider child exploitation material that depicts or promotes sexual abuse or activity involving children. I'm not promoting it. I'm exposing the problems of it. Sensitive content, graphic violence, violent crimes or accidents. Well, if I'm covering news, and I mean, we have been covering the wars, physical bite, child abuse, bodily fluids. Yeah, well, okay, it's not depicted. These are problems: physical harm, visible wounds, severely injured or mutilated animals. I mean, I'm talking more about children's rights and animal rights. So, let's see, adult content. I mean, I flag all of my videos on YouTube as, restricted for children. I do believe that this is adult content, not in the sense, pornographic. Is intended to be sexually gratifying, Okay. We understand that nudity can be shared for a variety of reasons, including for educational, medical reasons. Well, as I say, I'm not showing any nudity. I even have use my avatar so I don't have to do my hair and all that crap. Not that I'm doing it, but let's see, gratuitous gore, yeah. Yeah, dismembered or mutilated humans. No, I'm not showing any of that. Organs, bones, animals tortured. No. Child exploitation. Material is any content that depicts or promotes sexual abuse or activity with children. I haven't. Oh. You know what they might have gotten pissed off about is when I told Meghan McCain, because we have, I think there's 30,000 children that have gone missing. Border. Now I'm like, Meghan McCain, you just had your baby. And see, the thing is, I have been telling these, because I was like, you want your child to be taken away from you? Look at the CPS thing with Ryan Matta. They're coming in and taking children. One of the worst things that I saw, I mean, I didn't actually see the footage. I read a report about a woman who had just given birth, and some cop came in, stuck a gun to her head, and told her that she had to sign away her child. And Meghan McCain and the McCains have known about my case since the beginning. I sent an email when they started the McCain Leadership Institute. So, if somebody's getting on me about Meghan McCain and telling Meghan McCain, your child that you just had, you're going to be so happy when CPS comes and gets your child from you? Because, what's good for the geese is good for the gander. Now, if they're saying that I'm threatening Meghan McCain with that, I'm not threatening Meghan McCain. I'm telling her that a system that she is supporting, that her family has been openly supporting for 20 years. Look what happened to Marie Antoinette. Look what happened to the Tsar Nicholas and all of his family. I mean, a friend of my mom's told me years ago, her sons went to Hill House School, which is where King Charles went. She said to me, well, this has been going on for so long, there's nothing we can do. I mean, I'm sorry, that's unacceptable. I'm not the one who is promoting any of this stuff, but I am warning all of these little ladies. There's Lauren Bush Lauren. I mean, all of these bitches are trying to get me homeless, living on the street, because they want to shut me up. And then Lauren Bush Lauren is promoting, she wants to feed the homeless. Megyn Kelly wants to exterminate them. So I don't know. Maybe I got flagged on that thing, because I am pissed as shit with Meghan McCain. Okay, so let's go on. Visual depictions of child engaging in sexually explicit or sexually suggestive acts. I mean, Meghan McCain is the one who showed a photo of her child on the internet. And I said, yeah, Meghan, I don't think you'll find that so funny if they came and took your kid. Meghan McCain, the same age as my children when they were taken from me. I mean, she was the same age. She was 15. My kids were 15, 16. So, I mean, the McCains have been highly amused by my case for 20 years and my situation here in Washington. Oh, I represent white privilege, and I've been offered up as a sacrificial lamb so Meghan McCain could sit on The View and promote propaganda. So, the thing is I'm not threatening Meghan or her children. I'm saying with what the consequences of what she has done and what all of these other little ladies have done, I have told people, I don't know how many times, all of the expats I know, the norms and the lack of due process in the courts, the complete, I mean, just the corruption, it permeates from every nook and cranny that they are promoting. Going to come and bite them on the ass. I still, like Tucker Carlson, He's sitting there, he's saying people shouldn't have dual nationals. I still have a question pending for Tucker Carlson to explain what he's talking about, because I've told everybody who have dual national or dual national children, they have no rights. They're stateless, rightless people with all the crap that they've promoted. So I'm not promoting these things. I'm spelling out the situation to everybody. There's a big difference between that. Let's see. Illustrated, computer-generated, other forms of realistic depiction of human child in a sexually explicit content. No sexualized commentaries about or directed at known or unknown minors. No link to third-party sites that host child sexual exploitation material. No, I mean, I'm exposing them. I'm exposing CPS, foster care, international adoption. They're all trafficking children. So I'm the one who's exposing it. Recruiting, advertising, or expressing an interest in a commercial sex act involving a child, of course not. Sending sexually explicit media to a child, of course not. Engaging or trying to engage a child in sexually explicit conversation, of course not. Trying to obtain sexually explicit medium from a child to try and engage a child in sexual activity through blackmail, or, of course not. Identifying alleged victims of childhood sexual exploitation by name or image. No. Alleged victims, no, because like Sasha Riley, he's come out. I mean, anything that I'm posting is publicly available. So alleged, this is the thing, alleged victims. I'm not outing anybody who doesn't want their identity to be. Let's see. If you are found to have violated the sensitive content policy, you will be blocked from the Zoom platform. If you believe our finding is wrong, you can submit an appeal. See, this is the thing. I have no idea why they blocked me. They just blocked me. If the violation is related to child sex exploitation materials, Zoom will make a report to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children or other entities as required by law. Where did we make a report to law enforcement? Oh, my Lord. See, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, they need to be investigated for trafficking children. We all know, all of us in family court reform. And what really pisses me off here is Jen Shaw. She was supposedly a friend of mine at Foxcroft. Her father was Congressman Clay Shaw. This is Republican Florida. And he was the author of the Missing Child Act. And that gave rise to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children and their funding. And Jen Shaw, I mean, even when I was in Spain, I wrote a letter to Jen and I said, would you please tell your father to tell the consulate to do its job, because that's all I wanted from the beginning. Oh no, my dad's left Washington and that was a dote. He doesn't know anybody. I have not from the beginning, I have not been asking for any favoritism. I've been asking for what is within my rights as an American citizen. And by denying me my rights, these people have stripped me of my citizenship. And this is why, I mean, Marianne Seigart's father was a barrister, and he's the author of The Lawful Rights of Mankind. And it was, and that gets into, implementation of human rights conventions and This is everything that I've been working on is like implementation of Marianne Seigart's father's work. She blocked me as well when I sent her an email about what had been going on in Bobby Kennedy's campaign. She's a celebrity journalist in England. She blocked me. She's from Fox, excuse me, not from Foxborough, from Cobham Hall. I thought these schools were supposed to like give you the context to succeed in life, the network, build the networks. No, these networks are being used to for to promote corruption and criminal activity. And this is the thing. Alex Joel, he was a law student. This is the author of a book review of Paul Seigart's book, The Lawful Rights of Mankind. And he said, well, no, the problem, as he saw it, was that lawyers wouldn't understand how to implement these human rights conventions. And I'm like, yeah, it's not just the lawyers. It's the little ladies in the community who are setting the standards, the ladies and a few gentlemen. And they're not ladies and they're not gentlemen. So, you know, my favorite with that whole thing is Alex Joel. He became a civil rights lawyer at the CIA. I was like, yeah, that pretty much fits the picture there. Yeah, and I agree with him. These people, they don't understand how this stuff applies. Not the people in the CIA, not the people in Congress, not the people in the State Department, and certainly not American ruling elite. This is why they're all a bunch of fascists. And I'm not using that term as a slur. I'm using it in what fascism means. You're so narcissistic, you know, it's your way or the highway. And that can be an authoritarian, autocratic society. This is what is driving me freaking crazy with the Tyler Robinson thing, and precisely what I wanted to cover with these two videos with Didi and Zach Costello. And Zoom blocked me. So I'm definitely not going to get it to it this morning. Hopefully Zoom will unblock me and then I can do it this afternoon. Okay, so let's see. You may not promote or encourage suicide or self-harm. I mean, this cracks me up. I am like calling everybody out, saying what they are doing is promoting suicide. And we have 200,000 suicides each year. And the cases that I pull out, particularly Alan Dershowitz' wife, who killed herself. She jumped off a bridge on New Year's Eve. This was years ago, and it was several years after, you know, her divorce. I mean, he pulled the same crap as, this is why Alan Dershowitz keeps on ignoring me, even though he knows that I got the Me Too ladies by the balls. And that I can bring those ladies down. But see, this is where it exposes the New York legal community and entire New York society, because even though, how shall I say, even though the giving me a voice would make me a shitload of money, and it would get rid of their enemies within the Me Too, people would like dissolve and be, you know, they'd be faced with so many lawsuits, it's not even funny. So they would definitely be destroyed. I mean, you know, the thing is, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's the first rule of law and Machiavellian game playing. However, the thing is, I'll expose him and his game, and how, I mean, Alan Dershowitz, just classic case. This poor little girl, when he married her, he met her in high school, you know, and when he, and you know, they're very, very religious, Jewish religious, and he was supposed to get married. This made his family happy. And when he got a little bit of fame and fortune, you know, he's going out sowing his wild oats, and when he tires of her, he gets rid of her, and takes everything, the kids included, and she ends up committing suicide. Now, my ex-husband, he promised me that I would commit suicide if I ever left him. He's told me that I would end up living on the streets in a tent. Everybody's tried that one. And I mean, my sister, she keeps on saying, just admit defeat, just admit defeat. I'm like, what, you want telling me to go and jump off a bridge? There's some real high bridges around here. And I'll tell you, the thought has entered my mom, but I ain't doing it. I'm like, I wouldn't give you people the satisfaction. So no, in fact, this is what I'm calling out everybody who is promoting suicide. I mean, my favorite was Ann Woodward. This is the Capote Swans. And Ann Woodward was the one who ended up taking cyanide and committing suicide, because Capote was the one who outed her out. It had all been hush-hush. She had killed her husband. Well, and this was after dinner at Wallace Simpson's house. She had killed her husband because he was going to leave her, and she was, a gold digging cabaret, I don't know, some actress, and she was going to lose her meal ticket husband, so she didn't want that. So she shot him, but then her mother-in-law helped cover it up, even got the police to cover it up, because, the scandal it would produce. See, this is the thing. My ex, he said, he was going to kill me, and everybody I knew was going to cover it up and make it, it's suicide, it's suicide. He had the police in his pockets. His cousin was on the local police force. So this is why I'm particularly, I know how they cover up suicide. Believe me, it almost happened to me. I mean, how they cover up murder and call it suicide. Yeah, I'm well familiar with that one. So the thing is I'm not promoting or encouraging suicide. I'm denouncing it and trying to prevent it. So yeah, definitely not on there. Violent extremist groups. Oh my Lord. Okay. The DVEs, domestic violence extremists. We can even pull that up. Share it. I haven't done shared on, I just tried it once on YouTube. So where is this? The January 6th. Bobby print. Where is my January 6th? Whoops. See, you can go on and international. I know it's in here. Lobbying. Foxcroft France. It's January 6th. Here we go. So on the January 6th, is this not? Here it is. So they've brought out this report, the Domestic Violence Extremist Report, and this identifies all of the different violent extremist groups. Now, what I love in this thing, this only applies if they're white people. If you're black or brown and you have these ideologies, you're not a violent extremist. It's only if you're white. So that cracks me up. So racially or ethnically motivated. So if you're white and you do something against a black or brown or yellow person or against a green person, then it's violent extremist. But if you're brown and you do it against a white person, then you're good to go. I'm kind of confused. If you're brown and you target a black person, does that make you a violent extremist, or is it only white people? This only applies to white extremists. That, I mean, and then another thing that I love about this, but I did take all of these categories and I said, yeah, these categories, oh my Lord, I can get rid of everybody in the nonprofits and all of these cackling hens in Washington on this thing, because they're all the animal rights, the abortion related, the pro-life, and the pro-choice. I can run them all out of town on that one alone. Another is the sovereign citizens, DBEs, who believe they are immune from government authority and laws. Yeah, because that gets into the diplomatic immunity. That's everybody in the IMF, World Bank, UN, the diplomats here. I mean, they're all out of control, all out of control. There was one kid, he was a black African. This was with the black group that got rid of me. This was Casa Teresa. I mean, oh God. I mean, I was like, what, you people, this place has gone crazy. Anyway, but it showed how because the black African Americans, I mean, they hated me and they got rid of me and the whole bit. I'm going to see him in court on that. But they also targeted him because he was black African. And I mean, and I even got the proof. Oh, I got the proof against Gail. Good time on that one, because they called the cops on him. And oh, I can't wait to see that one in court. But see, this is the thing. I don't, none of the lawyers will take any of these cases to court. So anyway, terrorist and violent extremist policies. I mean, anybody who's calling me a violent extremist terrorist, yeah, I want to see them in court. There is no place for terrorist or violent extremist groups on Zoom. Yeah, well, I'm not part of any group. Nobody likes me. I've been canceled by everybody. Okay, terrorist organizations. I mean, technically global expats. I don't have it structured as a legal entity. It's just kind of a name, because until I can find some funding, I really haven't needed to start an organization, and I haven't started a nonprofit just because nobody's going to give me donations, and I don't want donations. I want money for a business that would make people a lot of money. I mean, all the conservatives promoting the whole trad wife stuff. I mean, this is why I'm like, I don't understand Tucker Carlson unless he's a double agent. That would explain why he's ignored me, because he would definitely, I mean, his platform, TCN or whatever. I mean, most of the platforms, the social media platforms that I've looked at, they cost about $100 million, which is no big deal for capital of interest. And you'll do it in rounds of 20 million, 30 million or something like that. So, I mean, I'm not asking for a fortune, and this would definitely be the platform. And I mean, hell, when I came up with the business model 20 years ago, one of the things that I showed my husband, and that's when he flipped out. And he really flipped out when Microsoft became interested in the project, was that trad wives, women who stay at home and manage homes, buy a lot of shit. Oh gosh, profanity. They buy a lot of things, particularly consumer goods. I mean, I love, there's a movie with, is it Cary Grant? And the wife says, don't talk about money in front of the children. And he says, why not? They spend enough of it. Well, yeah, when you have a family, kids, and, most of a man's income is going to go to providing for his family. But that's what he's supposed to, that's kind of his place, particularly in a modern world of white-collar criminals. So anyway, okay, let's see. We believe violent extremist groups are groups that identify through their stated purpose, publications, or actions as an extremist group. Well, no, I'm calling out everybody and I'm saying this is extremism. This is promoting extremism. That was the whole. In fact, I can call Arnold Schwarzenegger to the stand on that one because it was his comment after the Charlie Kirk assassination on a podium saying that the media was behind radicalization of everybody. And so that's been really kind of the exercise I've been doing with the Charlie Kirk podcasters of how they're attacking each other and radicalizing the whole process. I mean, Zach Costello, he even pointed out, he said at the beginning, Gary Melton was working on the ballistic stuff of the assassination and really was in agreement, was my understanding in the beginning, that like the whole ballistic stuff, the shotgun didn't make sense. It would have taken Charlie Kirk's head off. So, yeah, I don't know. We will examine a group's activity both on Zoom and off Zoom to determine whether they engage in or promote violence against civilians to advance a political, religious, or social cause. No, I'm not promoting violence. I'm calling it out. Some specific examples of prohibited conduct under this policy: engaging in promoting acts of behalf of terrorist organizations or violence extremist groups. Once again, I'm calling them out. Recruiting for a terrorist organization or violent extremist groups. No. Providing or distributing services, financial, to further a terrorist organization or violent extremist groups' stated goals. No. I'm calling them out. In fact, a lot of people who are promoting financial services, Candace, I actually have some issues with some of the commercials that she's promoting, because what I've been exposing about the financial markets and how that whole system and how the IMF have been using, and the central banks have been using that to siphon money from the people into the hands of the oligarchs and the governments. I've been exposing that. So even what might be considered benign commercials on financial products is furthering a terrorist organization or violent extremist groups. So there's a lot of people. This one here, I'm certainly not guilty of it, but there are people who could be having serious problems with this one in the future. I mean, even if they're not doing it on Zoom, because this, as I say, this gets into the violence extremist groups and promoting this I want to keep, because these are guidelines that are out there, and also could be really be used against Zoom in the future against them. Oh, this could bring Zoom down. I mean, really? Oh gosh. I'm looking at that going, yeah, Zoom picked a fight with somebody they shouldn't have picked a fight with. Okay, using the insignia or symbol of terrorist organizations or violent extremist groups. Yeah, no. I mean, in fact, my global I mean, I don't even think that because all I'm basically doing is reposting people's videos, so I don't think there's anything in those videos, symbols or terrorist organizations. I don't think there's been in there. If you found to have violated this policy, you will leave out from Blue Zoom platform. If you believe our finding is wrong, you submit an appeal. Okay, I submitted an appeal. You may not post other people's private information without their express permission or threaten to do so or try to get others to do so. In other words, no doxing. Okay, well, what does doxing mean? Let's see. Doxing or dropping dox is the malicious act of researching and publicly broadcasting private or identifying information about an individual, such as home address, phone numbers, or personal emails, if it used to harass, intimidate, or threaten targets. Well, I haven't been anybody's address. In fact, when I have, posted things up on the internet with um, my the PDFs, any addresses that I send to people at their home address, I always make sure that's blocked. I never divulge anybody's email address. And I have lately been looking at the ancestry.com, my ancestry.com accounts. But again, this comes under, like Candace Owens' family. Yeah, first off, for George Farmer, can't understand well, I'm not finding anything about his mother's side. And the same holds true with Candace. There's like nothing about, her parents. But the thing is, these are people, public people, social media influencers, people engaging in commerce. They're engaging in on the internet. Now, I have a right to be investigating and looking into people, anybody who I want. Now, their private information, like their home address, no, I haven't done that. Anything that any of that stuff, including government, let's see, photos, items, contact information, including non-public personal phone calls, phone numbers, or email addresses. I don't think, I've videoed myself on phone calls with people, but I haven't said their phone numbers when I'm calling them. And any of the phone calls, any of these phone numbers I get from the white pages. So everything, everything that I'm saying is public information. Spam. You may not use Zoom to spam anyone. I wouldn't even know how to spam anyone. I think I've been flagged by Gmail occasionally for spamming, because when I'll be sending, I have a long list of journalists over the years, an Excel spreadsheet. So I'll copy paste, and I'll have to do that in blocks of 5 or 10 because, and do that over a couple of days, because I found I'll get flagged for spamming if I did, 100 here or 200 there. But I'm not spamming people. These are people who I'm sending emails to. There's just hundreds and hundreds of people, and I want to know why, particularly with everything that's coming out in the Epstein files. I've been exposing that type of stuff, all of that stuff, and all of these people for 20 years. And I've been silenced and marginalized, barely be able to keep a roof over my head in response. Okay, you may not upload or distribute content on Zoom that you do not have right to transmit under any law, including trademark and copyright law. Okay. I am commenting on other people's content, but so is everybody. And I'm not like taking credit, like trying to say, oh, well, this is me talking, I'm not stealing their content. Oh my God. I remember one of my favorites with the whole podcaster stuff. So let's see. Um, Patriotic Housewife. Gary Melton um threatened to destroy Patriotic Housewife because he said that she had stolen her content. She hadn't stolen her content. She just had the same idea as him. Um, but then Baron Coleman's, he's been ignoring me. I spoke with Patriotic Housewife about everything that I'm doing, going to the international courts, all of these issues, all of the problems. I mean, this is the Epstein files. And now she lives in West Palm Beach. So, and she even said on her platform, oh, we're looking for people with, new crime stories. I said, oh, I got a whole, not just one suitcase, whole treasure chest of things back here for you. Just take your pick. We can go to town any way you want. Never heard back from her. Never heard back from her. I'm like, wait a second. You all are bitching because over some stupid thing. I don't even know what it was about. And Gary's going to destroy you. Excuse me. Baron's going to destroy Patriotic Housewife. Then I see recently that Jen, the producer, I think Jen, the producer, is Gary Melton's wife, Summer. Now I know this is Summer because she's the on his company. The company is under Gary Melton and Summer. Now, this is not private information. This is public information. And if people have a company and it's listed, excuse me, that's public information. Also, we live in a community. So there, just by living in a community, we've gotten into this on, social contract law. If you're living in a community and enjoying the, how shall I say it, the fruits of that community, in primitive terms, this is just, your elevated chance of survival. Because if you live out there in the jungle with the lions and bears, they might attack you. If you live, excuse me, in a protected community, you have a better chance of survival. However, this again gets into social contract theory, and you're going to give up certain rights for privacy. Now, when you're washing or any of those things, we agree that we have a right to privacy. That's human beings. Certain things, with your family, you're having dinner, you don't want people walking in, and you have a right to privacy. However, when it's activity that affects the community, or you're walking around on the streets, and if somebody, you get in a photo, or somebody has something, oh, I saw this person on the street and they were doing this or they were doing that. You don't have the right to privacy there. You're walking out in the street in public and somebody can comment on it, even if you're not a public figure. Because all of these people are going way overboard on the privacy right stuff. And they're doing it in a authoritarian and underhanded manner. So, as I say, I haven't violated, stolen anybody's work. Anytime I've, I quote people. Oh, who was it? Karen Winter. This was years and years and years ago. I was actually typing part of her book that I was going to use in an article, but I was also online at the time with an exchange that was going on LinkedIn, and I kept on, I think it was LinkedIn or Facebook, And I kept on posting what I was, you know, quoting her on saying. And she jumped in and she said, "How dare you plagiarize me?" I said, "What are you talking about, lady?" I said, "Look at it. I'm quoting you. I'm not plagiarizing you. If somebody quotes you, that's not plagiarism." Now, she's one of these, academians in the whole thing that have been ignoring me. If all of the academians would work together, oh, but no, they want to destroy the trad wives. I mean, these women are vicious. They're evil. I mean, we have 60,000 women who are being killed each year by family members. Too bad. 200,000 commit suicide, 600,000 who are dying of opioid addiction. Yeah, too bad. Too bad. Um, Copyright is a form of legal protection of original works. Okay, we went over that. I'm not. The right of publicity is using someone else's name, persona, or image for marketing or advertising purposes without their permission. I'm not doing any of that. And pretending to be someone you're not. Yeah, I'm not doing that. In fact, that's everybody. As a child, I was like, well, if nobody else will be happy with what I'm doing, then I might as well do what I want, and then at least I'll be happy. I mean, when you grow up in these like hyper regulated and do this, do that, do this, don't do this, don't do that, don't say this, don't say that, do that, say this, do say that, like whatever. We might get done. Whatever. I mean, my thing was I always had a book in my purse, and if the squabbling started between my mom and my siblings about what we're going to do, I mean, my father kind of took that as well. I opened my book, let me know when you finished with your fighting and what we're going to do, and we can move on. So, you may not use Zoom AI features, including AI companion, in any way violates the acceptable use guidelines. Okay, maybe they don't like how I've been using my backdrops. Make a decision with significantly limited or no human input that produces legal or similarly significant effects, including provisions or denial of financial or lending services, housing, insurance, education, enrollment, or opportunity, criminal justice, employment opportunities, healthcare services, or access to essential goods or services. Okay, that I really don't understand what they would be referring to, but as I say, unless I understand what they're referring to, I can't really address it. But attempt to infer a person's emotional state from their physiological, or behavioral characteristics based on non-text input, e.g., facial expressions, facial movements, or speech patterns. Well, I've analyzed the dialogue between people, and well, yeah. I mean, maybe I have said, look at how they're acting. But but I'm not using AI for that. I'm using myself. So that wouldn't. Okay, attempt to, yeah. So attempt AI companion. Yeah, I haven't even used the AI companion. I don't know how the AI companion works. I mean, I've used. I guess I turned that on or something at the beginning because that produces the text. Is my understanding. But that's all. I've been I've been using that text to post it on for the description on the YouTube. Now that has to be modified a little bit because what the summary will do is just everything that's being spoken, it takes as I'm saying it. So I do have to modify that sometimes because it's not me always saying it. Okay, Zoom policies may require modification in order to comply with the law, email, whatever. Okay, so let's see if they're going to let me in. I haven't changed my password because I was like, well, maybe it's a password thing. See, okay, they haven't. Oh, man, did it not show? Because I was. Oh no, okay, that's where we are. Oh, because I guess I was at the other thing. Okay, glorification of violence, violent threat policies. Yeah, okay, I'm not calling for violence. Violent threats, threatening to kill someone. Oh, this is, yeah, sensitive content. Okay, so I already went through, I guess it was on another tab. Okay, well, I hope it's shared. I'm still trying to. Anyway, I wanted to document this because, I am documenting everything. That's why I've been covering these podcasters about, as I say, it started, and I even have proof because it was in the first video. And when Arnold Schwarzenegger, I can ask Arnold, I sent him on the Instagram, I said, here, check out my video. And he sent me like. I have no idea if it was really Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's another one of my pet peeves. All of these celebrities and actors and actresses who have all of these fake accounts all over the place. They should be on that. And they're PR people. I even, this came up with Liam Neeson. Somebody was impersonating him. I mean, they didn't get any money from me, but obviously that's probably what they were intending at the end of the day. But I contacted his creative artist, something or other. Oh, they're huge. I was like, oh, thank you, Lord. They're huge. So I really want to go after them and bring them down. But I contacted them and I said, wait a second. These people are impersonating Liam Neeson. And there are several accounts out there. You need to be, these people are making shitload of money. They got tons of money. You get out there once a week, once a month, Google this actor, that actor. Is anybody impersonating them? Contact Twitter, X, Facebook, whoever it is, and say these are false accounts. And it's done. This whole thing, I am so sick and tired of the ruling elite who think that their job is to become rich and famous and then live like parasites on society. Oh, here, I can stop sharing. So, yeah, here are see, I can't even put these things up here because well, I guess I could put it up against that one and do a little. Yeah, all of these guys with their fancy rooms and studios and all these fancy podcasters, they're in for a rude awakening. They really are, because they're no different than all of the journalists that they say that they're replacing and bringing honesty and open dialogue, and also, I mean, they're promising all sorts of stuff. But particularly what I've seen with YouTube is how they'll be promoted in different algorithms. And I mean, that was really obvious with Baron Coleman. Like and I think he might have like started a new account legitimately, and he would have had other accounts, or because he was a radio host. So, he's obviously been doing this, and he does. I mean, I like how he presents it. He just, he was a lawyer first. He's a lawyer, so he really should be on top of it, looking at stuff that I've been sending him instead of just ignoring me. And he's going to have a hard time on that because we are going after all of the lawyers. I mean, ask any of the victims of the courts. I've had people contact me for years and years, and all of us, we get contacted all the time. Can you recommend a lawyer? No, sorry. All I can do is tell you who not to go to and who's the enemy. I mean, there's one lawyer in all of Madrid I would recommend. And in fact, I went to go and see him. The reason why I would recommend him. And he was like, oh, your husband's a banker. Oh, we got to get lots of money. He's rich. So what are you doing? I was like, I don't need this. I need somebody to help, Okay, I didn't understand the situation. I had never been talk to a lawyer in my life, except at cocktail parties, or gone into a court of law. So yeah, I've learned a lot. But so anyway, my husband, my ex, he was afraid when he found out that I had visited that guy. They were afraid. I was like, oh, that's the one that I because he was afraid. He didn't care. Anybody else was good what they were going to pull. But he knew with that guy, they wouldn't have been able to do it, and that they would have been screwed. Yeah, so the lawyers out there, we've got the names of thousands of lawyers that are going to have to answer in court. Baron Coleman has just added himself to the pile. He's on his high horse. He's, flying high with his podcast. Fine. But, this is my thing with all of these podcasters. Wait a second. You want to cover some serious things. Well, you have some legal liabilities here if you're covering things up. So that's kind of, I was like, shit. So anyway, I guess I'm not going to get to my video this morning. And I was like, oh God, watching this stuff last night. And DDGotaPodcast, he did this interview with Lisa, who is the one from Paramount Tactical. And it was so in your face of how that type of mentality, that type of thinking, that perspective, however you want to refer to it, that Alice in Wonderland attitude is completely destroying the rights of people in a society, and the right of innocent to proven guilty. This is what I really liked about Didi's podcast, is he kept on stressing, and he came out, and his opening statement, I was like, buddy, you need to go to law school. We trying to get you into law school, buddy. Really, I'm serious. Really good, really good. And he was like, this is a due process. This is a presumption of innocence. This gets into the core. Particularly, we're talking about a death penalty case here. This gets into the core of what a justice system is or is not. If you cannot, and this gets into Prince Andrew, is the same reason why I defended Prince Andrew, and everybody, despises me for it. Presumption of innocence. Even with the case against my husband, when I went down and filed a complaint against his threats to kill me, that was the hardest thing I've ever done, or one of the hardest thing I ever did was leave Spain and my children. And I never thought I would be separated from them for so long. But and even there, he was like, "Oh, they absolved me. I'm like, I don't care. And the lawyer was like, "Do you want him to go to prison?" I was like, "God, no. I just want somebody to tell him to calm down." His parents were like, "Que sera, we don't want to get involved." Everybody around, the same thing. Nobody wants to become involved. And the thing is, his brother was there, instigating the whole stuff. But even then, I'm like, of course, presumption of innocence. I was just like, I don't care. We have it on record. Now, if something does happen to me, I have it on record that I did say something. So that I have, for me, it was a win because I have this on record. And if something does happen to me, well, wait a second, she filed a complaint here. It was absolved, but she did file a complaint. So there was some sort of protection for me with that. And I think maybe that's also how I made it out alive of Spain. Because if I did show up dead by suicide, then, there would be like, well, wait a second. And then, of course, well, wait a second. John McCain knew about this. Ingrid and Astrid Betancourt of Colombia, the presidential candidate, Ingrid, she had sent a letter to them about this, saying, could you please tell the consulate? I was soliciting assistance from the French and the American consulates in Madrid, saying, help me find a lawyer. I need a lawyer. I need a lawyer who knows what the frick they're doing. No, go onto our website and you can get names of lawyers. I said, wait a second, the lawyer who screwed up the first thing, the domestic violence case, he came from your website. You're up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. Now you better help me. They've thrown me into this situation. It's somebody you're advertising on your website. Sorry, we don't get involved. I'm like, that's your job. That's your responsibility. Go fuck off. So, as I say, for me, and I was like, okay, fine, that, presumption of innocence. I didn't want anything except I'm afraid here. And I mean, ask anybody, you know. I mean, I'm not stupid. Somebody who's twice my size, a man who's twice my size, even if he doesn't know how to fight, that's not a fair fight. Okay. And I'm not stupid. I don't go around picking physical fights with anybody. Particularly, I'm 5'4", and I'm not huge, and I love kickboxing at the gym. But yeah, I think I punched one time a bag. It was like, wait, that hurt. And then with the foot, oh, I had never done it, and I did the foot. I know now. You punch the bag with your foot, like, I don't, you can't show it here, but like that, instead of with your toe. Yeah, I think I fractured my toe on with that one. That was a week before I went trucking through the Amazon. So anyway, yeah, it's not a fair fight. So yeah, I don't go around and I'm like, I'm not gonna walk around the streets at night at 3 o'clock in the morning or something looking to be attacked. That's why it does scare me living it homeless on the street, because I know as a woman I would, you know, have a high level of possibility of being attacked. So yeah, I was like, I don't care. It does serve as a deterrent, because if I am hurt in some way, there is a case filing. And the cops were called several times to the house because of it was, I loved it when the cops came. And I mean, I had those things, this door bolted and all the stuff, things in front of it. I mean, a jewelry press that I had bolted to the ground. I mean, for him to try to break through that. And I said, look at this. Look at what he broke trying to get through to attack me. And he said, any judge would just say it's his house. He can break whatever he wants. I said, oh, even his wife. Yeah. Oh, okay. Another lawyer. Oh, the only people who didn't screw it up was two court appointed lawyers, women, two that I had. And one of them, I told her, I said, oh, my mistake was that I filed a complaint against my husband. And she said, yeah. I said, they don't believe you unless you're like literally in ICU and, broken bones. And she said, yeah, unless you're like dead, they're not going to believe you. I was like, okay. So that's the situation.